Dirty Sports, episode 819, live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Good morning, Joey.
How's everything over there in Cincinnati?
It's good, man. Wild windstorm last night. Got a little scared, not gonna lie, woke me up.
Midwest weather update with Andy Ruther.
Yeah, but it was the first time I've ever been a little bit like worried. You ever been worried?
Okay.
Like that's why it was different.
Worried that it was going to pick up some lawn furniture, take it over to the neighbor's yard?
Yeah, the neighbors were worried. It woke me up at about midnight. Neighbors were doing their thing. I checked out the back patio and I was like, I don't know what am I moving here? Like moving the lawn furniture, And then I had a crazy dream after that there was a tiger and it was chasing me. And at first we were at this big pool and the tiger got in the pool and it was going straight for me, swimming across. And then I was at my parents' house and it was chasing me in the house and I was climbing and it like scaled a wall. And then I got in the bathroom and it was like trying to barge in the bathroom and it was going to get me and kill me. And then I woke up. Guys,
this is an important message that Andy Ruther's like, I am now decoding messages via the subconscious Ruther curse. Andy Ruther's subconscious and the Andy Ruther curse is telling you Tiger Woods at 66-1 in next weekend's Masters. Everybody, get your bets in now. Is he playing? Is he not playing? No one knows. But if he's kicking open Andy's parents' bathroom door, it's safe to say he's kicking open the doors to Augusta National. Follow the Ruther subconscious curse. Tiger 66-1. Tug's ecstatic right now. Tug is over the moon.
Or is it the Bengal? Because it was a Bengal tiger.
Oh. Or is this the tiger being inside? Is this the tiger, the Bengals moving to an indoor facility for practice, as was the news the other day?
It's truly amazing. At this point, I think all Bengals fans owe me credit for this turnaround that's happening right before our eyes. Everything
I've said it before. It's been mentioned now in multiple replies on Twitter, in DMs, in the Reddit forum. You need to start selling the curse. You need to start bottling it. You need to start being like, you need to make predictions about people for money in hopes of changing their life.
Well, again,
Andy, I need you to say right now, please, for me, I'll Venmo you $5. I need you to say that my show at the Bridge Street Bar in Vail, Colorado on April 14th will absolutely not sell out. And it certainly won't sell out in the near future.
No, it definitely won't sell out.
You're sure of that?
Positive.
It's not a big place. It should sell out.
Well, at this rate, Vail, I don't know how many dirt balls we have in Vail. I just don't like the odds of you selling that out. You might have 5 people at the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Bridge Street Bar, Vail, Colorado, not selling out. You heard it here first via the Ruther curse. Tickets available online now.
They might have. What's going to happen is they're going to break a fire code and the local firefighters are going to show up now due to the curse. But you got to remember with the curse, it's got to be something I vehemently get behind, right? Like I legit think that. And by the way, I don't think you're going to sell out. So I'll keep doing that for you. I'll just keep doing that for you.
That's great, because if we sell out, we would have to add a second show on the 13th. No one wants that.
Sure.
So thank you for the curse.
Well, I do have to laugh real quickly. This was a story yesterday, and I texted you. We were laughing about it. That the Bengals are now looking into an indoor practice facility. McAfee was really funny. Pat McAfee did a whole, he's been on this harder than me as far as the indoor stuff. And he did a funny rant on his show about it. But I have to read the quote from the Bengals vice president, Katie Blackburn. This is Mike Brown's daughter, who is pretty much calling the shots now. We are considering ways to make that happen as far as getting an indoor practice facility. We are definitely looking to plan for that. We're looking actively at some things. It's something we realize would be good for us to have. So we're trying to find out ways. Joe, you have to laugh at that quote.
Yeah.
There's no ways. There's nothing to look into. You are a professional. You're a professional football team.
This is like on the night of the Oscars after the slap heard around the world. I believe a tweet came out from like the Academy, like, or maybe it was even LAPD, like, we're investigating the situation. It's like, a billion people just watched it happen on video. Like, I think the investigation is closed there,
sure.
Holmes.
Yeah. No,
like,
exactly.
If they're serious about it, I mean, to be honest, not to take a shot at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not New York City. You know what I mean? There's real estate available for 100%. An outdoor facility. They can get this done.
100%. And that's why, again, that quote, you have to laugh. It's like there's no looking into this situation. The local university whose indoor practice facility used was built in 2010. So, just quick hitter to get that out of the way. It is funny, though, that they might actually do this. I'll believe it when it happens. Side note on all this stuff, the lease for the Bengals Stadium is up in 2026. So that's right around the corner. A lot of people are saying this is part of their negotiation to get more taxpayer dollars to pay for more things. So who knows? But I don't know how much something like this would cost. I assume it's nothing too ridiculous. But good for the Bengals. I will say Joe Burrow, and I'll just pose this to you, has been the most important athlete to this city probably in my lifetime. Who has been more monumental? I mean, Griffey Jr. came back. It was a total disaster.
Yeah.
Obviously, Pete Rose was here. But that was towards the end of his career. I'm talking about my lifetime. You had a Reds team, Barry Larkin, homegrown. They won a World Series. But like, as far as, I would argue this is all because of Joe Burrow, and he's that important and he's that transformational.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even think of somebody that's even in that, even in his class from since, I mean, we're talking about just the Bengals and the Reds, essentially, sure. I mean, on the highest level of sport. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's no Bengal, the quarterback is going to be the guy who does that. I mean, Boomer, nice little run there, but certainly not on the level of Joe Burrow.
I mean, he did have, according to Goldberg, which Goldberg has said to me multiple times now, he always brings up his underwear commercials.
Yeah.
So, I guess he had the underwear commercials, which
I know you're a little young for this, but Boomer was in the tighty whities. Yeah. We saw little Boomer, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
Little Boomer.
By the way, little Boomer is what I call the mushrooms I ate the other day before a 7-hour poker tournament in the back of a donut shop in Van Nuys. Yeah.
Oh, man. So, yeah, that's going on here. But the big news, right, is that Bruce Arians is retiring.
Wild, dude. The wildest offseason in NFL history. I mean, without a doubt at this point. I immediately saw the story and texted you, Brady to the Niners. I've been saying Brady to the Niners. I just feel like it's still circulating. And then everybody's like, well, why is he retiring? And then say he's coming back for the Bucs. How do you even, like, if you're Bruce Arians, like, the Bruce Arians thing was kind of talked about during the Brady thing, which is like, if you're Brady, how do you kind of hold this team hostage and say you're leaving and then say you're coming back? And now you come back and the head coach leaves. This had to be something that Brady knew upon returning. Is this potentially something Brady knew upon leaving, that Arians was going to leave? Was this responsible for the retirement in the first place. And then they convinced him, no, Bowles is going to take over and he's going to do a good job. We're not announcing it yet, but like, you know, you're in charge of the offense. Bowles is in charge of the defense. Like, so many layers to this, if you ask me, about like when it was decided, how it was decided, like kind of just wild to me. I still, just because craziest offseason ever, I still have Brady to the Niners. Like, I don't have it at 0%. I'll just say that.
I do.
You have it at, well, there it is. It's happening. Brady to the Niners, Vail Comedy Show, April 14th, selling out. You heard it here first.
I think, I think this was the plan all along. Well, Arians definitely wanted to they said this for sure was the plan. He wanted to hand off the team to one of his assistants, whether that was Leftwich or Bowles. That was the plan all along. I don't know why it unfolded like this, but yeah. Brady's right. I don't know if you saw it.
So Arians has left the team to Bowles, and Byron is left with nothing.
See what you did there. Well, I think at this point, I read a lot on it last night. I think they say, obviously Brady is up, Bowles already controlled the defense as far as calling the plays, and Arians gave him carte blanche as far as he didn't stay. He didn't get in his business at all. And I think Leftwich was mostly doing the same with Brady. I think those two now seem to be in sync enough that that's how it's going to work, and that Bowles just becomes the head coach. Obviously, Bowles was a head coach for the Jets and started good at 10-6, and then just the last 3 seasons were losing seasons. But
the Fitzmagic season,
yeah, I mean that's the Jets. Jets are going to jet. I think Brady knew this all along. There's no way he's late.
So do you think that this is responsible at all for his initial retirement thing? Like, oh, if Arians is going to leave, I'm out too. Like, seems like the time to do it.
Maybe. I mean, does Arians, I assume he's got a good relationship with Brady, or did Brady not want him to be the head coach, and that's why he came back?
No, I would think it would be, I would assume, I mean, Arians can be a kind of a prickly guy, it seems like, but I would assume that Tom Brady goes there, wins a Super Bowl with him in the first year, that their relationship is pretty good. And he's going, well, if Arians is going to leave, seems like the right time for me to eject from this situation. And then maybe rethink, maybe this is what was behind the Tom Brady, I'm staying thing the whole time, which is, oh, maybe now's the time to go. And then he just rethinks it. And he's like, what does my head coach really even matter? We're going to keep the same offensive system. And, I've talked to Bowles a few times and sounds like we're on the same page with blah, blah, blah. Maybe, maybe I'll give it another run.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think. That's what I think probably is the likely scenario. And look, they're in a division that is theirs for the taking again. The funny thing is, I saw a tweet. I should have pulled it. I saw a tweet, or it wasn't a tweet. It was something a writer posted on The Athletic. It was listing the record of the head coaches in the NFC South. And Bowles doesn't have a good record. Rule doesn't. And then the head coach, who's the head coach of the Falcons? Arthur Smith.
Yeah,
he has the best record at like a 41 or 42% winning percentage. So you have a weak division. You have the Saints, who just signed Andy Dalton, which to me that says a lot, because they're giving him a fair amount of money. Not a fair amount of money, but if the Saints are signing Andy Dalton for up to $6 million with $3 million guaranteed, that means they're saying, hey, we still don't fully trust in Jameis Winston.
Yeah, and even if we do, we know that this is a team that is being built in a way where if we have a solid backup, that guy can come in and do the job as well. I mean, the Cowboys did it a couple of years ago with Dalton. I think that when you have a team that is, built around, let's run the ball, let's play some defense, we're not a quarterback focus first squad, which obviously they weren't with Jameis. They went out, they tried to get Deshaun Watson. Jameis is just sitting around. They obviously, it's a combo of, they believe enough in Jameis that they're bringing him back for now what will be a third season with them. And but at the same time, they know, listen, if we're built in a way where we can win with Jameis, where we think we can win with Jameis, and we're not that confident in him, that means we should probably spend money on a guy that we also think we could win with should Jameis go down, which for a lot of teams, I think, they're going like, here's our quarterback. And if he goes down, well, that's kind of it for our season.
Yeah.
And for financial reasons and, others, but.
Sure. But again, back to the Bucs, it's their division for the taking, and they're going to be huge favorites to win. And I like it. And I like.
You don't like Mariota to the Falcons?
No.
I kind of like Mariota to the Falcons.
Really?
Yeah. I've always been a low-key Marcus Mariota supporter.
I mean, he's not terrible, but he's not gonna give them an edge to win, like win a division, compete. No way. No
Guys, way. Get your money in on Atlanta Falcons division winner right now.
No way. Come on, get out of here with that. No way. That's I'll definitely wear the L chain if that happens. No way that Falcons under Marcus Mariota. He's just a placeholder until they get a different quarterback. No way.
Clip it. I mean, that's how you goad Ruther into a Ruther curse.
What, you get me to say things that I'm pretty definitive on?
Yeah, just like hard, just like no way. Once I start getting the no ways, no way.
No way. No way the Falcons win that division. No way. Absolutely no way. Mark it down, clip it, whatever you want to do. Not happening.
Somewhere Calvin Ridley is shoving money toward his bookie.
Yeah, for real.
All in. He's like Goldberg in the back of a futon store. All in. Yeah. Double up, baby.
So they've changed the overtime rules again, this time just for the postseason. Now each team will get a possession. Tough news for the Bills and their fans. A few months too late.
Is it though? Tough for the Bills fans. Hey, Bills, don't let people score on you and go a whole field in 13 seconds.
No, I know, but you know what I mean.
I honestly, I don't approve.
You don't approve.
I don't approve. I know everybody, it's like generally think I think my biggest problem with this, not that like for competitive purposes, it's not like more fair or whatever, but also like it just seemed, I just feel like now we have rule changes that are so like
frequent,
not only frequent, but like they seem to be reactionary to like whatever just happened. And it's like, remember a couple years ago, we had the Rams Saints thing, and suddenly we're reviewing pass interference. We got to review it. And now we have one playoff game that ends with like a team not being able to stop somebody. We got to change it. It's like, I mean, we all agreed that the idea that a bunch of, linemen crash into each other for 3 hours in small brain-wrecking car accidents shouldn't suddenly be decided in overtime by a team getting the ball and kicking a sudden death field goal. And that went on for years. And we did that, and everybody agreed that was not the answer. So we make the change, and now it's also like, but now both teams have to get the ball. It just feels like very like, I don't know. It feels like a very, modern day response where it's like, this is a safe space. Everybody should have their voices heard. Every offense should get to touch the ball. Everybody has to have their opportunities. It's like you go down, you score a touchdown. Stop, like defense. Defense wins championships. Stop a team from scoring a touchdown.
I think both teams should get the ball. Something I'm kind of gaining momentum personally more on is not hating ties in regular season. Like, is that a crazy stance to say
No.
if you can't solve a game in 60 minutes, it's a tie?
Like no overtime in regular season?
Yeah, just like it's a tie. And I know probably a lot of people. I'm not saying I'm fully there. I'm saying I don't hate it as much as I used to, especially like you're saying with player health and just crushing each other for 60 minutes, saying, okay, so it was a tie. Yeah. You know, because it would also change how people wouldn't go for ties, I don't think. And it would change how the game's played, especially in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. I don't hate each team getting the ball. And I also, like college rules, I don't know how that would work in the NFL if they start at the 25.
Yeah. I like that. That's the difference between college and the NFL. I like that that's college. And I totally approved of the NFL being like, we're not ending this game on a sudden death field goal. But like, really, this is the thing. Like, Bills fans can't, the Bills fans this year or the Chiefs. And by the way, this is the thing. A couple of years ago, the Chiefs were complaining because the Patriots got the ball. It's like, just stop somebody. It's one drive. By the way, you don't even have to stop them. Just hold them to a field goal. You have an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a reactionary world we live in. And that's shown with these rules. But at the same token, I think each team getting the ball, it's just like in the playoffs, it's more fair. Like that Bills game, I know what you're saying. It's kind of a shitty way to end that game, though. I know what you're saying about stop them. Guys are gassed, though. That's the easiest time to score is in overtime after a 60-minute game when teams are gassed, especially the DBs and the down linemen. It's just tough. I did see something.
Overcome it.
I did see something pretty interesting. This is all coming out of the owners' meetings. And I don't know if you've seen this, but a lot of owners, and the Ravens owner was even on record talking about it, a lot of them are not happy about the Deshaun Watson deal. And they're being open about it. Because that 230 guaranteed, is 80 million more guaranteed than the last highest guarantee, which is Aaron Rodgers. And basically they're saying you are fucking us. They're saying the Browns are fucking us for these upcoming quarterback contracts. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, some of these guys who are going to get paid. They're saying that deal just sets a awful trend and somebody's going to have to buck it. That's the thing. I would argue, like, who's the team that has bucked it like prior to this at any point? Like, you can say, the Browns, how dare they, give him that much money guaranteed. I would go like say this is like a snowball effect. And this is one of my favorite targets in the league to take a shot at, but like, aren't the Vikings just giving Kirk Cousins $30 million, just like guaranteed or not per season at some point? Aren't they just as much to blame? Isn't every quarterback who's had anything guaranteed to blame? Isn't Tom Brady renegotiating his contract to take guaranteed money so that the Patriots can stay under the salary cap so that they can keep competing for championships just as much to blame? Isn't Patrick Mahomes getting a $500 million deal over 10 years and backloading it so he's still technically like financially on a rookie contract for the first couple of years of that, just as much to blame? Like, I would argue that, this is just the latest iteration of how teams finagle the quarterback getting such a big piece of the pie to fit what works for them, which is, this is just the Brady restructuring on steroids. Sure. Yeah. Well, no one's, like you said, no one has bucked the trend and no one has said, hey, we're not going to pay this guy this much money. And I think the Ravens owner is open because, his quarterback's already getting injured and he's going to have to decide, what do I really want to give Lamar Jackson?
Well, I got to say, and listen, I know Lamar Jackson is one of those guys with one of those styles of play, a black quarterback, so many different factors where he has those. You go on the internet, get involved in a Lamar Jackson conversation.
People get turned, man.
I mean, people are insane about it. And the bottom line is the Ravens owner is right to be scared / upset, whatever, because he's in a situation now where he has to basically he has to overpay somebody that's not deserving of it. Honestly, I would say any smart football analytic opinion, you don't want to give Lamar Jackson. I think any smart person that breaks down what Lamar Jackson has done in the league, the team success that's come with it, how teams are affected by giving their quarterback the big deal, etc. I would say any smart person shouldn't want him to get paid that money if you're a Ravens fan. But if you're a Lamar Jackson supporter, if you're a black quarterback support, all these other things, now you're going to get the cries of, racism or whatever the case may be, that you're not, this is the guy where you guys are trying, Deshaun Watson's a rapist, but you'll pay a rapist, but you won't pay a guy who's had a couple injuries and it was just one season or whatever. And by the way, I'm doing that voice because I'm doing, I'm playing the character of dumb shithead on the internet. But I mean, if you're the Ravens owner, you've been backed in a corner here where you now essentially have to give somebody what is, in my opinion, and I think a lot of smart football minds' opinions, a bad deal.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't.
But I would say that the Deshaun Watson deal is a bad deal.
Yeah, I agree too. It's too much money.
And the bottom line is, at some point, you need to be like, hey, we have a vision for this football team. We know how we win. Somebody's got to be the person that steps up. I am the one who have been hammered on this show for saying it for as many years as I did. And Pete Carroll eventually, and the Seahawks eventually got to that place. Hate to say I told you so, Pete Carroll and the Seahawks, but should have done it earlier. I was the one that was saying 2020, when you have a strategy, when you have a recipe for success that works for you, and you toss it out the window for the sole purpose of paying your quarterback, he better be that guy. And to be totally honest with you, I think there's, at any given moment in the league, 3 or 4 that guys. And it doesn't mean you're not a great quarterback. It just means you don't command that guy money and you're better off not spending it on him.
Well, I don't even know if he came to that conclusion. I think it got to the point where Russell Wilson wanted to be traded. And obviously it probably both parties came to an agreement like this year, right? Make the trade happen.
And the reason everybody comes to that party is the team success has dwindled since the money was handed out.
Yeah. Yeah. I at some point, it's no different like what we're seeing in America with like the housing market. And you see this time, like at some point you would think it's going to have to correct itself. You can't just keep paying guys and expecting to win. It just financially, it doesn't work out.
Well, we had, obviously the quarterback is always going to be the most important position on the field, but we had the run a few years ago where the running back, the return of the running back, suddenly a lot of the good teams in the league were built around a marquee running back, and guys were all of a sudden, after, a decade of not getting paid, with the exception of one guy here or one guy there, we had a couple big deals handed out. Then you get the Steelers, who were like, we're not going to do it. And you have the whole Le'Veon Bell franchise, not playing for the franchise tag situation. And then it kind of corrected itself. He left. What's Le'Veon Bell been since he left the Steelers? And I think a lot of guys were, hesitant to do what he did after that. We're seeing it with receivers, which, with the kind of the shoving of the running game aside and being like, this is a pass first league now. Now it's quarterback receivers. But in the end, you still have to be financially responsible. So now we're seeing it with Devontae Adams. Now we're seeing it with Tyreek Hill, guys who aren't prepared to just play for the tag, aren't prepared, think, hey, I'm more valuable than you guys are giving me credit for. And teams being like, we actually don't think you are. And if it happened with running backs and it happened with receivers, common sense would say at some point it gets there with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
The problem is for every it's crazy because the Redskins are such a mismanaged team, but to go back to Kirk Cousins, for every Redskins good decision out there of we're not going to give Kirk Cousins the long-term contract, you have the shithead Vikings out there who are like, we will. And therefore you can't reset the market because they're like, no, we'll do it. Yeah. We're desperate. We just went to the NFC Championship game with a, stacked roster and a nobody quarterback. We'll tear down our roster to pay a mediocre guy.
Yeah, and the difference between football and something like baseball, the fans don't really matter as much because the TV deals are so lucrative and people are going to show up regardless. Obviously quarterbacks attract. Don't get me wrong.
You have 8.5 now.
Yeah,
8.5 home games a year.
Exactly.
It's gonna sell out. I mean, you have essentially 4 games a year, half of your schedule a year before you would even be in a predicament where your fans would be like, well, this season's over.
Sure.
No one's out of it halfway through an NFL season. The Chiefs were 2-5.
No, they weren't 2-5.
3-5, whatever they were through 8 games.
They were probably under 500, probably like 4-5 or something at a certain point. But yeah, I mean, but these organizations, no one's had the balls to just say, hey, well, I'm not just going to throw a boatload of money at the quarterback. The key to me would be you just got to win that chip within 4 to 5 years or be so competitive on the rookie deal and then assess it from there and move on. But nobody wants to move on. Like Burrow is going to get paid, man, barring something crazy that would happen in the next couple of years, injury wise. Like he's going to get paid. And that's why, again,
but I think we're seeing it a little bit more. I mean, the Browns moved on. Baker Mayfield was the first overall pick. He spends his offseason recording commercials inside their stadium. He was the guy. He was the marquee dude in there. Now, they spent more money on Deshaun Watson than they would have had to spend on Baker Mayfield. But I think teams are, starting to realize a little bit that, it's still a business. Like Baker Mayfield was fine for us. Baker Mayfield, got us a playoff win. Baker Mayfield was the guy. But also, we can upgrade.
What do you think would happen? I was just thinking. Would the world, how can you imagine the world, especially social media, if Progressive did a Deshaun Watson commercial where he's laying on a massage table?
No, it would end society as we know it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like people would just like start convulsing and just explode. It's going to be fascinating to watch that play out and to see what the NFL does.
I think it should be a commercial it should be a commercial for the NFL. Forget Progressive. It should be like one of those NFL network commercials. It's like promoting the league as a whole, like all the, a bunch of former players, current players, owners are at a spa. You have Robert Kraft on one table, Deshaun Watson on the other table, Tom Brady's on the third table. Tom Brady's kid comes in and kisses Tom Brady. A sex worker in chains comes in and takes care of Robert Kraft.
What would be a great reality show? Saying all this. They just had the owners meetings. Like, wouldn't you? I would love to hear what a bunch of old, rich, white billionaires, because, some things leak, but most of it stays in-house. like what these guys are arguing over, whether it's the Deshaun Watson contract or who's going to help pay the $790 million that Kroenke owes the city of St. Louis. I would love to know, or the rules changes, all these things that happen.
The 40 Jerry Jones lawsuits that have come out since the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like what I want cameras, forget Hard Knocks and the team. I want Hard Knocks owners meetings.
Yeah.
I want to know.
I would just love to see, like, you know, the different owners bringing up the different things. You know what I mean? Like the Bills owners in there is like, we've got to change the overtime rule. And Jerry Jones is like, yeah. That's what we should talk about. Overtime rules. Nothing else. Don't bring anything else up this meeting. We don't need to talk about my bus. We don't need to talk about paternity suits. We don't need to talk about nothing. Let's talk about overtime rules. Robert Kraft's like, I love it. Let's talk about overtime rules. It's great. I don't want to talk anything about massages and Deshaun Watson and massages and how my restructuring of quarterback deals got Massage Boy his deal. Let's talk about overtime rules. Everybody's like, yep, we're all on the same page. Overtime rules it is.
And then they're like, we all vote to agree. The Bengals must get an indoor practice facility. Come on, dude. We're all in this together. Stop being a cheap ass. Like, I want to know, what are those discussions? What are they talking about? And also you have billionaires. Then you have somebody like Mark Davis, who just inherited the team. He walks in with that haircut. I want to know what they think about him. Basically, I've never watched the show, but it sounds like it would be like a Real Housewives, but with owners.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Because just as removed from reality.
Oh, exactly. Like there's no, like, they don't understand. I think when you accumulate that much wealth, you can't.
That was the thing about, you know, the Oscars situation that I've been saying to a lot of people, which is like, this is the only place that could happen, because with then the reaction that occurred after it, because
you mean the lack of reaction,
right? Everybody is so removed from reality. Everybody in the building is so removed from reality that
no one does anything.
No one does anything.
It's nuts.
No one does anything. And Jim Carrey had a great, I don't know if you saw the Jim Carrey clip where he just like hammered Hollywood and just said like everybody, he was just disgusted at it. But it's like, you know, I knew it was going to blow up after the fact, because once everybody walked out of the doors of that insane, you know, pseudo reality where like things like this can happen and no one says anything. And then they're like, let's just see how Puff Daddy handles it. And we'll go from there. Like, Puff Daddy, you're up. Take us home, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. Like if you think the narcissism and the insanity when it's, you know, millionaire Scientologists, imagine when it's billionaires, when it's billionaire fucking white supremacists.
Yeah. I want it. Hard Knocks owners meetings. Cause they do, I don't know how often they do it a year, at least a few times a year, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, where they go down. And obviously the coaches were down for this one because everybody was laughing about the picture of Matt Rule and the coaches' pictures. Did you see that?
I didn't. No, but every year the coach's pictures always got some good comedy in there. What was Matt Rule's thing? Was he wearing Crocs or something?
He's just like this, and he just, I mean, I'll just be honest, you know, he's fat.
He's sucking it in.
Yeah, I got canceled for saying that. Like, you know, he's looking
canceled.
He's standing out because of his weight and just what he's wearing. And then you look at guys like, you know, Sean McVay, like he's always in shape and he looks cool and he's fashionable. And you got a lot of young coaches like that, and they're wearing the glasses, and Rule was just like, I want to know what type of hookers go on. Like, what's going on at the owners meetings in Florida? Like is Jerry Jones bringing girls for everybody? And he's like,
well, I mean, I think this is you know, like birds fly south for the winter. I mean, hookers, the Major League spring training and the owners meeting go to Florida. I mean, like the hookers are jumping on freight trains like hobos crossing the country during the fucking Old West. There's like, you know, getting their rucksacks and hopping on. Yeah, HOEBOE, hobos.
Oh, that's too good, man. That's funny. One last thing, and then we'll move on.
That's a great shout out to a dear friend of the show, Pizza Starro. Pizza Starro had a great joke back in the day. It was an annual. Pete has a couple of annual tweets that I make him send. One of them that I demand every year is he does Happy New Year's, your rent is due, which I like. And then spring training every year, I demand he does pitchers and catchers and whores have reported to spring training.
Oh, I can't imagine just the women just flocking to that.
Yeah.
One last thing about the NFL, and we'll move on. They give the Lions Hard Knocks. Now they're giving them the 2024 NFL draft. Can we stop rewarding them for Hard Knocks? Isn't a reward, but hosting the NFL draft is a reward. Can we stop?
Listen, the all corners deep dish pizza is delicious, but like, for God's sakes, can we stop rewarding Detroit for?
Yeah, come on. Like, what are we doing here? There's 32 teams in the NFL. They do not deserve to host an NFL draft. They just don't. They win a fucking playoff game, will you? Not until the fan base. I mean, I if we rank the delusional fan bases, which would be tough because as we see, they're crazy. But that Reddit post, I don't know how you recover from that.
I don't even know if that's delusional as much as it's like they're an abused housewife.
Yeah.
Like they've literally been so beaten into being like, but he still loves me. He does it because he loves me. Like the delusions, they don't have the delusions of grandeur, but they definitely have Stockholm syndrome. This is just the way it's got to be.
Sure. And from the perspective of getting people to generate interest, I know there will be people who will go because NFL fans are rabid and crazy. But Detroit, like they did it in Cleveland, and I was kind of like, They did it in Nashville. Cool. Nashville's a fun city. People want to go to Nashville. They're doing it in Las Vegas this year. People want to go to Vegas. Detroit? Come on. That's ridiculous. Anyway, let's move on, Joe. We made it through. Lots of NFL stuff, but again, they just dominate. I want to bring up what Brian Cashman said today about the Astros and the Yankees in 2017.
I did not see this. This is exciting.
You didn't see this?
No.
It was trending. And
I love it anytime the Yankees get into play, any sort of I mean, why don't you tell me what was said? But I just love that the Yankees even dip themselves into any controversy. It's like, maybe you guys should stay the fuck out of it.
So he's still mad about the 2017 season and the World Series and the Astros sign stealing scandal. And what's getting him mad is about people saying that the Yankees haven't been in the World Series since 2009. And he now is taking a lot of assumptions. So he said, the only thing that stopped us was something that was illegal and horrific. I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009, because I'm like, well, I think we actually did it in the right way. Pulled it down, brought it back up, drafted well, traded well, developed well, signed well. The only thing that derailed us was a cheating circumstance that threw us off.
I mean, crybaby bitch boy shit, dude. Like,
so, and then
the Yankees, I mean, this is like full yourteamcheats.com, but like the Yankees were very much not innocent in the sign stealing scandal.
Sure.
Carlos Beltran comes there the year later. There's Apple Watch shit. There's tons of reports that they're not innocent. So like the idea that you would just not take your lumps here.
Well, he's not. And listen, he goes on to say, people are like, oh, we haven't been to a World Series. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's as true as the statement could be. We had a World Series team, and either you get it done or you do. So he's literally saying you did have a World Series roster, but you didn't go.
Yeah.
So when,
and okay, and that's fine, but like the Astros cheating scandal, that was 1 year, 2 years. Like, what about, 2009 is 13 years ago. The Mets have been to a World Series since then, buddy, with the Wilpons as owners.
Yeah, that's true.
The Mets, which get ready for that factor to be. This is Andy. I know I've been saying it, and I will say this every single time this kind of story comes up. I believe in a salary cap and a salary floor in baseball. I think that there needs to be a financial restructuring of the league for the sake of competition. But God damn it, if I'm not excited for the Mets to be in this position now, while the Yankees sitting over there. The Yankees are the Mets now. The Yankees sitting over there whining about fucking the one team that they think they could have gotten there. Why don't you just go out and buy players like you did when your fucking dad was alive?
Well, what he needs to say, and here's another quote. I mean, it is wild. I don't know if I read this one. The only thing that stopped us was something that was so illegal and horrific. A little dramatic there, Brian Cashman. So I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2000.
The only thing that stopped them is you, dude. And George Steinbrenner dying.
Well, and again, if he worded it differently, if he said the only thing that stopped us in 2017, but he's going on to say about going back to 2009.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the other 11, 12 years?
Yeah. Were the Royals stealing signs when they were getting there with fucking, middle of the pack salary cap situation?
It is interesting. That is a good point of a role reversal between the two New York teams.
Oh, Andy, when I say I'm rock hard, I mean fucking rock hard. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me as a New York Mets fan. I honestly, it's better than any feeling I've had since a very young Joe Prano experienced a first of not many World Series wins. I mean, throwing a first pitch was great. The 2015 run was great. The early 2000 run to the World Series was great. But turning the tables on a team that, in my opinion, essentially ruined baseball and the way, it wasn't steroids, it wasn't Bud Selig, but just below Selig and steroids, I would say the Yankees, fucking the entire Major League Baseball salary situation and causing a Red Sox arms race and causing the Dodgers to get in the way, and just like the way that the Yankees are solely responsible for what's happened financially in baseball, for the tables to turn, and now there to be a Steve Wilpon or Steve Cohen tax because he came in to save the day. It makes me so excited to be a fucking Mets fan going forward. I have never been this excited to be a Mets fan.
Well, I'm excited for the Home Run Derby X Global Tour featuring former Major League Baseball players.
I don't even understand this, so please.
No one does.
Tell me the situation.
No one does. I had to reread this a million times because I'm just saying, what the fuck is this? So yesterday, baseball announced the MLB Home Run Derby X, a global tour. Dude, you're going to die when you hear this. When I read this, I was like, I can't wait to read this to Prano. A global tour making stops in London, Seoul, South Korea, and Mexico City. It will feature former stars Adrian Gonzalez, Johnny Gomes, Giovanni Soto. I'm sorry, Johnny Gomes, not Gomez. Giovanni Soto and Nick Swisher. So this is how it's going to work. Dude, this is so stupid. Gonzalez will represent the Dodgers, Gomes the Red Sox, Soto the Cubs, and Swisher the Yankees. And they're going around this summer in a reduced version of a baseball field with a home plate mounted on a stage and a pitcher's mound on a podium, with a field of play designed to fit within a range of environments from festival sites to stadiums. So hitters will get to swing at 25 pitches and take up to 10 of them with the opportunity to earn points by hitting targets placed 160 feet from home plate and 2 beyond the outfield fences.
I love when they say festivals. This sounds like the beginning of The Natural, like fucking Nick Swisher getting off a fucking train in the middle of a fucking field. And, Robert Duvall getting down behind the catcher to fucking call balls and strikes. Some country bumpkin out there, like trying to strike out Adrian Gonzalez.
Teams will receive a point for every home run, target, hit, or catch, and players can call for a hot streak that will allow teams to double their points on the next 5 pitches. Each event will feature a winner, and the tour will culminate in a knockout tournament.
Dude, this is the equivalent of like Baron Davis having a dunk contest on an 8-foot hoop with fucking Nate Robinson. Like, what are we talking about here? A reduced baseball field? Like, I can't think of anything less interesting.
And again, they're going to go to London.
They always try to overthink these things and try to get so creative when, to be totally honest with you, if Major League Baseball wanted to do some sort of home run derby situation that takes place in like off seasons that like can draw attention, that can tour, whatever, what they should fucking do is the old school home run derby that used to air on like, I don't know, the History Channel or whatever it was. Like, take 2 current players, 3 outs per inning for 9 innings, put them in some fun, funky fucking ballpark around the world. Take a cool minor league park and spend, $2 million, or take a Japanese park or a Korean park or a London park or whatever, and do it up with, like put a little money into each event, make each little ballpark. Oh, you hit this sign, you get 5 points. You hit that sign, you get whatever. If it goes here, it's going through a waterfall. It goes through whatever. Like, do all that shit. But one thing's for sure, get crazy with the dimensions. But it's got to be a regular sized field, and it's got to be current players.
I was gonna say, no one in
how many home runs?
Johnny Gomes.
How many home runs did Johnny Gomes hit in his last major league season? How many home runs did Nick Swisher hit in his last major league season? Did Nick Swisher hit 11 homers in his last major league season?
Johnny Gomes hit. Well, he played 12 games his last season, which was 2015. Season before that, he hit 22. No, I'm looking at RBIs. Never mind. Dude, Johnny Gomes, the most home runs he ever hit was 21. I mean, this is embarrassing. Johnny Gomes home runs going back from his last year.
Red Sox legend. If you're going to say his name, say his full name. Red Sox legend, Johnny Gomes. Yeah.
I can't think.
I was just talking to Johnny Gomes about this the other day when I was in the back of a Bob's Discount Furniture in an Omaha high-low tournament. He's excited about it, baby. Yeah.
Nick Swisher's last 4 years home run total. And I know he didn't play a lot of games, but still 8.624. This is who base. You know how like when NBA goes overseas, they trot out like that's why the game grew so much, and they would talk about like all the trips and like Kobe Bryant going to China and Asian countries, and that's how the game grew. Oh, holy shit, Kobe's here! I'm gonna see Kobe. I'm gonna see one of the best players ever. Major League Baseball is doing Nick Swisher and Johnny Gomes. If Nick Swisher and Johnny Gomes walked right into my house, I'd say, "Who the fuck are you?" In my own house, I wouldn't know. And they think this is going to attract people in different countries. Who comes up with this stuff? I can't think of a sport run worse or just a giant blinking guy meme where you don't understand what they're trying to accomplish. What is the goal of this? Oh, you're going to London or you're going to Seoul, South Korea? I don't know. If you're going to South Korea, maybe get some big Japanese or what?
All I can think of is Asian fans watching this happen. And the scene from the fucking major league. Like I see the Asian fans watching this, cut to the guy, go, these guys fucking suck. Remember the translator?
Yeah. I mean, it's just, dude. And I know he's not Korean, but if you want to do something big, get a huge Asian player. Ask Ichiro if you pay him enough money. Will you go do this? Get somebody who they can relate with. Get at least you have Adrian Gonzalez. At least he's Mexican when you go to Mexico, City. God, they're so stupid. They're so stupid. They're so dumb. Baseball is just run by idiots. This, honestly, I can't think of this is cringe, Joe. This is like if I saw this in America, this is cringeworthy.
I love that in like the last 40 years of baseball, they've had like literally 1 million ideas, and the one that fucking worked was bobblehead dolls. It's like literally the one successful like wild idea they had. People just come into the stadium like with knives to slit the throats of people to steal their bobblehead dolls. Otherwise, like, no, they're like, what about a home run derby? And people are like, that sounds so fucking stupid. Meanwhile, Japan's got, big boss Tsuyoshi Shinjo coming in on a hoverboard.
Oh, dude, I tweeted that stuff out. I couldn't stop watching what they do in Japan.
Yeah.
Dude came in on a hoverboard. Unbelievable. And I'm not saying that they got to go WWE, full WWE, even though I'd enjoy it. But look, there is a difference. We have a walk-up song. You get to pick your song, and they have guys coming in on a hoverboard. Now, you can find a happy medium, I think. But dear God, Johnny Gomes. And no disrespect to him. I liked him when he was on the Reds. He was a nice little player. He was a nice little, player. Not a guy I'm trotting out. I mean, I hate to make the joke, but it's like they found him like, dude, you need some money. And he's like, yeah, I do. They're like, okay, here's the plan. We're going to ship you all over the world. And he's like, do I get a stipend? Do I get meals paid for? Do I get a hotel paid for? I'm like, yeah, you do. Okay, I'm in.
Like, you do have to share a queen size bed with Nick Swisher. Johnny Gomes and Nick Swisher are going on a home run tour like me and Eddie Ift go on a comedy tour. Just sleep next to each other in a fucking Days Inn.
Oh, man.
Speaking of which, I'll be in San Luis Obispo this weekend for shows at Sycamore Mineral Springs Resort and Spa. And then the Colorado tour starts next week, Andy. Schmiggities in Steamboat Springs. April, I believe it's 5th. Nope, sorry. 8th and 9th. April 8th and 9th in Steamboat Springs. Vail Comedy Show, April 14th. April will be added to April 13th if we sell out. That's at Bridge Street Bar. You can find those at vailcomedyshow.com. And then Denver Improv, 15th and 16th, all with Eddie Ift. Andy, I've bought new snowboard boots. I bought new snowboard bindings. About to get back on my snowboard grind. I'm excited for it. So if you want to see me and my comedy Nick Swisher, Eddie Ift, come out and see us in Colorado.
Yeah, you figured out how to work these plugs in the show. That's very professional, you, Joe.
Yeah.
It'd be like me discussing both of us wearing Miller Lite right now. It'd be like a professional way to introduce our good friends at Miller Lite. This is some good gear, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, the tie-dye shirt, the Hawaiian shirt, this hat I actually got from a DirtBall.
You did?
Yeah.
I would like one. I'm going to have to reach out to our friends at Miller Lite. I know when you're in the great state of Colorado, I know after you hit the slopes, is it the slopes still?
Yeah,
with snowboarding?
Absolutely. Sure. It's still a slope.
I know you'll come back, drink some cold, refreshing Miller Lite to end your day. Look at a beautiful sunset as you look at the Rocky Mountains. Could there be a better way to end your day, Joe?
Absolutely not. I've already mentally skipped to that portion multiple times, snowboarding. It'll be my first time back in a couple of years. Very meditative process, gonna shred the gnar, but I've already mentally done the playthrough. I'm going to come down for a little après shred, get myself probably a bucket of Miller Lights, to be totally honest with you. And I'll put my feet in the cold ice, use it to ice my knee as I drink Miller Lights and just, like you said, watch the sun fade below those beautiful Rocky Mountains. I am so excited about that. Just a cold Miller Lite after a cold day on the slopes. What's better for the soul or the body?
No, nothing at all. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers. It's made from simple ingredients. Miller Lite is for people who love the taste of beer. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/dirty sports to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
And shout out to all the DirtBalls, man. There's been a lot of DirtBall fam on social media lately sharing us their Miller Lite. They're drinking responsibly of their Miller Lights. Love to see it. Love all you guys at spring training games, golf, as all the things that you guys are doing.
Sports events that you're watching.
Enjoying sports events, all the things. And I love that you always tag me, Dirty Sports, Andy, of course, at Miller Lite. We appreciate it. They appreciate it. And it warms my heart.
Yeah. We really do appreciate that. So thanks to everybody who has done that. Well, the Final Four is this weekend, and
yeah.
We're expecting some good games. I just looked. The spreads are pretty close. Kansas is a 4-point favorite against Nova, and Duke is a 4.5-point favorite against Carolina. I am rooting for Carolina and Nova in those two games.
I am rooting for Nova. For sure in the Kansas game. I don't know. For some reason, I've just never rooted for Kansas. Something about Kansas I don't like. So I'll be rooting for Villanova. I like Jay Wright, who's super nice to me back in the day when we covered one of his tournament runs. The Duke North Carolina game is tough. I
usually don't root for either.
Yeah,
but part of me wants to see them end Coach K's career.
I know. I think I'm kind of rooting for Duke, though. I think I'm rooting Duke Nova.
Duke Nova championship. I think Carolina's playing the best basketball. Now, Kansas looked great in the second half against Miami, but I think Carolina is playing the best basketball right now.
I'm kind of indifferent on that Duke North Carolina game. It would be great to see a good game, especially between those two arch rivals. But yeah, but I don't know. Something about me is low key. A lot of a lot of different thoughts and feelings when I think about those two teams. But I think I'm kind of pulling for Duke weirdly.
I mean, how can you not root for Carolina though with this Brady Manic guy? I mean, what is this dude? What's going on here?
I mean, what really makes me want to root for him is former Nick 4-point legend Hubert Davis, being their head coach. But there's a lot there, as North Carolina. It's also the alma mater of Michael Jordan, who I actively root against in all ways, almost for Michael Jordan's unhappiness alone.
So, do you know the history of this Brady Manic guy for Carolina?
No, what's the history?
Well, he started in 2017-18. He's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
And, he got the extra year. These guys get the extra year because of COVID.
Right.
And I tweeted, they showed that picture, which I tweeted out, of his many different looks. And, now he looks like he came straight out of a Grateful Dead or Fish concert.
Yeah.
But his looks have changed. He's from Oklahoma. He did his first 4 years there. And now he's here. And I don't know. To me, he just looks very un-North Carolina. He doesn't look like a guy who'd be on North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he's on that team. But I'm going to be, I don't know why. Part of me just wants to see Coach K
lose.
Yeah. Against his rival twice. Like they end your last game at Cameron. They end your last game as a coach.
I mean, yeah. It'd be a wild ending. I don't know. I'm not necessarily rooting. I don't really have any interest in any of these teams. I don't have a rooting interest in any of them being the champion. so I don't really care. But in some way, if you're like rooting for like Coach K to lose, I almost want him to then lose like in the championship game, like slay the North Carolina Dragon and then lose in the final.
Yeah. Well, no surprise. Shaheen Holloway hired Seton Hall's new head coach.
Saw that coming.
Yeah. Good for him.
I got some inside info on Shaheen Holloway from a friend of mine who was at Seton Hall at the very same time as Shaheen Holloway. He was, I believe, 1 year behind him. I believe Shaheen Holloway was there 96 to 2000. My friend, like myself, was a 97 to 2001 college attendee. He played sports at Seton Hall. Apparently, the big knock on Shaheen Holloway, sort of lazy in the gym. Not a guy who like went above and beyond the call of duty. But he said, maybe he has learned from that. You can't just like rest on your talent. And
and I don't know his history. He was McDonald's All-American, stud from Queens. Obviously, he did not go pro.
Right.
But he played in the same McDonald's All-American game, I believe, that Kobe Bryant played.
Okay.
Pretty sure they showed that. Yeah. I believe it was the 96 game.
I just saw a clip of Kobe and Steven Jackson talking about that game, and Kobe being like, "You won MVP." And he's like, "No, I didn't." And he's like, "Who won?" And he's like, "Motherfucking Shaheen Holloway, who had like 10 turnovers." And he's like, "What? I thought you won." He's like, "No, I didn't. But thank you, Kobe, for saying it." It's a crazy clip. And he says that like the big moment for the MVP of that game was, and it was a highlight that was shown forever in promotion for McDonald's All-American games for a year. Shaheen Holloway goes through the lane and like does like a drop pass between his legs for a dunk. It was like the premier McDonald's All-American game like highlight forever. And Steven Jackson credits that pass and dunk as the reason he didn't win MVP and Shaheen Holloway did.
So Shaheen Holloway was MVP of the McDonald's All-American game. He was that good. I wonder why he didn't make it to the pros. Was he too small?
Yeah, probably. I mean, when you're that size, you just have to be elite. You just have to be like absolutely elite to make it to the NBA, whether it be athletically, with a shot, with quickness, with, if you're like a Steve Nash with like all the things in, above average and all the things except defense, to make it. Like when you see undersized guys, the NBA is just an absolute freak show. And that's why the easiest way for me to discredit your entire sports opinions is if you come and argue, who's better athlete. Oh, who's better athletes than guys in the NBA is that like whatever you're about to say. I promise you're wrong. The NBA is the freakiest of the freaks. It is an elite athlete show. The guys like Shaheen Holloway are just like insane athletes. And they can't get there because they can't get their shot off, or they're not quick enough, or they're not whatever. That's why it's like the Allen Iversons of the world, whatever sport you thought, he should try, he would have been better at it than everybody. Like his college football or his high school football highlights are insane. Like,
yeah, I've seen them.
That's the NFL thing. It's just like the NBA is a freak show. Think about all the guys who have gone to the NFL in the last 15 years who are like, well, I was a starting power forward on a whack basketball team, so now I'm the best tight end that's ever walked the earth. Like,
yeah, this roster though, man, I'm looking at the 96 roster
of the All-American game.
It's pretty stacked.
Yeah.
I mean, just on Shaheen Holloway's team, you had Tim Thomas, Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal, Kobe, Richard Hamilton. I mean, that's a one team. Yeah, that's crazy though that he won MVP.
I was in high school at that time. I graduated in 97, and I believe Tim Thomas and Elton Brand were the class before me think they were 96 high school grads, but I might be wrong.
Well, Tim Thomas was. Elton Brand was not.
Okay. So Elton Brand, when I was in high school, was like, he was the guy who everybody was like, this is the dude. And he was local from where I was from. He's from Peekskill. And so they were like, yo, there's this AAU game happening in like White Plains in this like little ass gym. Let's go watch Elton Brand. His team is playing Tim Thomas's team. And I was like, yo, this is going to be bananas. And everybody was like there to see Elton Brand. And Tim Thomas was ridiculous. I saw Tim Thomas grab a board on one side of the gym, go coast to coast, throw an alley-oop to himself off the backboard and just like hammer dunk. It was like the scene in Blue Chips where they're watching Shaq play in the fucking
barn.
In the barn. The whole place was like, what did we just see? Got kids like white kids from fucking Westchester just like passing out. It's like old lady, like having to be revived, like old ladies at church.
Oh man, that'd be fun to be at.
It was bananas.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm looking like that game was sold out. This game I'm looking at 96. It was on the other night. There was nobody at it though. Like it used to be such. Remember how big of a deal the McDonald's All-American game was?
Yeah,
it used to be such a big deal, but that's kind of faded out. So. Well, we have some calls. No surprise. We have some calls about what happened at the Oscars.
Oh, great. Now, where we got to take your temperature on this, Andy. Where are you at? Are you still at? It's fake.
Well, I'm at anything is possible. You know,
you took some heat for it on a variety of social media platforms.
The variety?
Yeah. I mean, there was DMs on Twitter. There was tweets sent. There was
there was DMs.
Yeah, I think I might have opened one from Dirty Sports too.
I didn't see that.
There's multiple sent to me. Reddit. I mean, somebody called you smooth brained on Reddit. I mean, Reddit was.
Well,
one guy was very upset with you.
Well, he's being an asshole, to be honest. He's just being an asshole. You tell me my take's bad all you want. When you get personal, and then you backtrack and not be like. Here's the thing about me in this show. I'm wrong a lot, and I have no problem admitting that. Don't tell me I'm not being authentic. That's where I really take it personal. Don't tell me I'm just trying to.
Andy wants you to know his bad takes are legit.
They're legit. And I know you can vouch for that. I don't say things just to say.
And he's like, you can't fake this kind of wrong, my dudes.
Yeah. So like, that's when I got really, that's what got me going on the Reddit forum of like, dude, you're coming at me saying I'm doing this for attention? For what? No, it's just my take that morning was, I think this is fake. Like, I'm not saying things just to play devil's advocate. Look, a lot's happened since then. I think there's a chance. There's always a chance things can be fake. It's so crazy.
I mean, I said there's a 5% chance it's fake. The reason I leave a 5% chance open is there's a couple different things that I think could be behind it being fake. I just don't think any of them are big enough to convince these guys, specifically Will Smith and the reaction, the fallout that's come from it. And honestly, the number one thing for me is the way he laughed at it at first. It's like, if it was fake, why wouldn't you just be pissed off the whole time? If you're going to sell this, sell it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like, I leave a 5% chance out there that, he now gets a cut of Chris Rock's tour that's going to sell out and probably, double. And also, I think there's a little bit, I think the one thing, here's the one low key benefit that'll come to Will Smith from this. Now, I don't think overall that this will be a win in any way. I think it's going to be a gigantic L for Will Smith overall. But the one benefit is like, it does finally give Will Smith just like the little bit of edge that he's always been lacking. and he's always played the good guy. He's always been, I mean, the doesn't swear in his music. I did a show last night. A guy did a great bit about just like how white people are mad at Will Smith. And it's like, yo, Will Smith has been doing shit for white people this whole time. He's like, I can tell you for a fact. He's like, us black guys, we never got jiggy with it. That was for you. That was for y'all.
Oh, 100%.
But I don't think that, like, I don't think any PR person or branding coach or whatever, even who's like, listen, Will, you're getting cucked and everybody's making fun of you. And, this good guy thing is like past, it's overdone. We need like a rebrand. Let's do some crazy. Like, I just don't think if that's like the 5% chance I give it that it was fake, but then it was so mishandled that I don't think that was it. So I'm still on the 95% sure it was real.
Yeah, and at this point, it definitely leans way more towards being real. I just part of me probably, now that I've had a few days to look back on it, was just in too much denial that like he would do that. And again, it's Will Smith.
What's so crazy now is like anytime something happens, I love this. This is one of the, I talk about smooth brained. This is one of the things I love, that like everybody, there's a subsection of our population who thinks that like Hollywood is all like one gigantic club that's like part of the Illuminati that's like planning to like whatever. They're like, don't get distracted. You know what's also happening in California at the same time? They're trying to pass a rule where every California worker needs to be vaccinated. They're just trying to distract you. It's like, you guys think Chris Rock and Will Smith are conspiring to put up some smoke screen so that California can pass some sort of, like, guys, y'all need to get off the dark web. These are the worst conspiracy theories I've ever heard.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, my thing wasn't even that. It was just, I was going a few different angles and like, again, being,
this is all a distraction so Kamala can put on the sleepy Joe Biden robot costume and take over, really start running the government.
Not to change the subject, but NFL signing just happened.
Nice.
Rams aren't messing around. Bobby Wagner.
Wow.
And here's the thing.
Wow, that's huge.
And they're paying. I mean, Adam Schefter just tweeted this 13 minutes ago. 5-year, $50 million, worth up to $65 million.
I think this is a great deal.
I mean, he's still playing at elite levels.
And listen, they did. This is their strategy, and it worked last year, and it'll work again. It's like, they brought in Von Miller. He was effective. He goes and he gets a bigger deal. They get Bobby Wagner for less than the Bills got Von Miller, or same over less time.
Yeah, I think that's a great signing for them. And obviously he stays in the division. So, I mean, they're it's like they've fallen again. I don't get it. They've fallen under the radar. They're reloading. So they're going to be right there again. They should be. All right. What's I was about to give my own phone number. I was about to give my own phone number on the hotline. That would have been a mistake. 310-359-8365 is the hotline. All right, we'll do a couple calls on the Oscars.
Yo, what's going on, Andy and Joe? So obviously the Will Smith memes are just absolutely out of control right now. I was kind of wondering what your guys' favorite Will Smith meme is, whether it's a singular meme or like a genre. For me, it's definitely probably the Dragon Ball Z memes, or I just found one that is playing off of, I can't even remember the guy's name, but the reporter that said the homophobic slur during the Cleveland game last year. So it has Chris Brown saying he made a comment last night that went out over the air and he's deeply ashamed of, driving to deep left field by Castellanos, and that'll be a home run, so it'll make it a 4-0 ball game. So that's just some of my favorite memes. I'm kind of curious of what your guys' favorite Will Smith slapping Chris Brown memes are. That's all from
Brown.
You keep saying Chris Brown, dude. You not to be a dick, but you're messing. So that was the Reds announcer. It wasn't the Cleveland Indians. It was Tom Brenneman.
Yeah.
Now, no, Chris Brown is the one who does the slapping.
Yes.
You're reversing it. He's the one who beat Rihanna.
Speaking of Cleveland, can I just do a shout out really quick to one of our favorite, if not the number one Cleveland dirtball, our man, Crypto Rant, our boy Andy Ranta from Cleveland. He sent me in the mail one of the new Cleveland Guardians hats. I have not owned a Cleveland hat ever. It has been added to my collection. I have a Cleveland Guardians hat. So shout out to our boy Crypto Rant, who has sent us crypto over the years, who's been a longtime supporter of the show.
Noise.
Yeah. So that was since I heard Cleveland. But I'll tell you what, Andy, you're not going to like this. You're not going to like this because you're an old man now. But there's some great Will Smith, Chris Rock content flying around on TikTok. A lot of people using the sound or some sort of remixed version of the sound, specifically of Will Smith yelling, "Keep my fucking wife's name out your fucking mouth," or whatever it is. So many good uses of that sound. That, to me, has been the best content that I've seen of it so far, is the using in creative ways of the sound of Will Smith losing his mind. Honestly, I have yet to see a great one. And in fact, I've been disappointed in the quality of most of them so far, of the original meme style. Take a picture, take the still photo of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, putting some sort of tag on who or what Chris Rock is and who or what Will Smith is. I've been disappointed in the quality of those so far. The Castellanos one, I did see. I did enjoy that. He
that
also
one's been done a lot.
Yeah. And Castellanos has an Andy Ruther like following just to his play day to day, much like the Andy Ruther curse. Now the thing is, essentially, anytime something really bad happens in the world, people check in with how he's doing. He hit a home run in his first spring training at bat after the slap. He's now like there's some sort of wormhole to another plane of existence between Castellanos's bat and things that are happening in the world. So that's an interesting thing to follow. But I've got to say, my favorite so far has been the use of the sound on TikTok.
I did see the video where they replaced Dave Chappelle, the Rick James sketch.
Okay.
This is a comedian, Brian Monarch.
I know him. Yeah.
So it's like perfect. I saw that one this morning. Somebody had retweeted it, where like Will Smith is Dave Chappelle playing Rick James, and obviously Chris Rock is Charlie Murphy, but like the face swap is like impeccable. I mean, it looks real. That's a good one. I don't know if I'm an old man because I'm on TikTok. Is that what we're doing now?
Oh, I'm an old man because I am treated as an old man on TikTok. There is it is a young person's platform. It does feel like I'm hanging around the playground. But it's a fun app, but that's where I've seen the most creative Will Smith, Chris Rock jokes so far.
I'm holding it down on MySpace right now, man.
Yeah.
Just holding it down.
You and Justin Timberlake bringing MySpace back.
Just holding it down. I'm ready for AOL Instant Messenger to come back.
Yeah.
because that was lit, son. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Remember
the
AOL
door opening and closing?
Oh, man. Well, here's a conspiracy that is wild. Listen to this Will Smith conspiracy.
What's going on, boys? It's your number one new Austin DirtBall, KT, formerly the number one Arlington DirtBall. So I wanted to call in on the Will Smith issue, debate, actually, with the slap and Andy saying there's no way that was real. I was on board for this being 100% real until I saw something posted online, a nice conspiracy here, that Pfizer was the number one sponsor of the Oscars. And last August, just a couple months ago, they announced a new alopecia drug that they're putting out there. So leads me to believe about the conspiracy of them kind of getting to the bottom of this and having Will and Chris Rock kind of being on it. They probably paid him some big bucks. I'm a big conspiracy guy on news networks doing the same shit, and every single time Pfizer is sponsoring that news network, and then they talk about how great Pfizer is. So let me hear your thoughts, boys. And condoms are for Rob Man said, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
This is a pretty wild one.
This is a wild one, but this is where a good conspiracy theory should start. This has all the makings of a good conspiracy theory, because what you need is money that eclipses greatly the parties involved. This is what I talked about last episode with like why you can't bribe athletes anymore, because a bookie doesn't have nearly the money that a professional athlete does. So when we're talking about money, the idea of faking it to what, like, you know, your theory, which I stand by, is just terrible, that the Academy Awards, it was to up the ratings on the Academy Awards. The Academy Awards doesn't have a financial footprint big enough to sway guys like Chris Rock and Will Smith, who themselves are worth so much money, into doing this on their behalf. Now, when you need a good conspiracy theory, you need to go to heavy hitters, big pharma, heavy hitters. So when we're talking about conspiracies and coming up with somebody that could potentially be behind this as a conspiracy, at least now we're sniffing around the right thing. Big pharma. Now, what will be interesting if this theory has legs. It currently has legs. Now, do those legs work, or are they Forrest Gump, brace legs at this point? For this conspiracy theory to actually start running, I will need to see, let's keep our eye on the Pfizer pulse. Keep our finger on the Pfizer pulse over the next couple of days. If we start seeing a big alopecia push, that would be interesting. A big alopecia medicine push. If we, if suddenly there's a commercial where Will Smith is smacking the hair back onto a bald head, in a Pfizer jumpsuit, then this is one I have not closed the door on this theory.
Well, they do have billions upon billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And obviously they've only made that much more money the last few years. I mean, that's a smart one. Now, it's not as smart as the Andy Ruther theory back end deal. You win the Oscar, you do this.
Now, I actually heard another. This is a theater dork conspiracy theory. So, there's a rule for theater folks that you're not supposed to say the title Macbeth if you're in a theater.
Sure.
You're in a theater, you're not supposed to say it. It's bad luck. Apparently, Chris Rock said Macbeth about Denzel's performance in Macbeth in a theater right before he got smacked in the face by a guy with the same initials as William Shakespeare in a movie called King Richard.
Wow.
Oh, my computer almost went down. Mind blown. The Macbeth theory.
Oh, that's a crazy one. That's nuts. What do you think they're going to do to him?
To Will Smith?
The Academy.
Probably nothing. Give him a stern talking to. I don't think he'll lose his Oscar, right?
No.
And I don't think, maybe he'll have a suspension from attending the awards. I could see that, but not a ban, not like a lifetime ban. I did hear last night that there was some sort of maybe SAG itself taking some sort of action against him, which would just be wild. Like Will Smith needs fucking SAG.
Has Chris Rock spoken with Will Smith?
I don't know. It's a great question. Apparently Chris Rock went on stage last night and didn't talk about it, which I know he said he's processing it or whatever, but like, dude, how do you you couldn't write one joke about it, 2 jokes about it?
Where did he perform? Was he the Comedy Store?
No, he was in I believe he's at the Wilbur in Boston. He's like on a theater tour.
Oh, he's on a tour right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, his tour definitely sold out instantly.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying. I just, it's crazy. Like, I don't know how I would just be like, fuck this. I'm out of here. I walk off stage.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do one more call. This is a baseball call.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Clay from your original #1 South Carolina DirtBall. I'm in the car, so if it's low, I don't give a fuck. Fuck Andy. It's fine. But I just want to weigh in on your baseball talk as far as financials. I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, and we're pretty ass. And I was looking at some of the financials on Google, and the Pirates owner net worth is $1.1 billion. The Astros owner's net worth is $1.4 billion. And you see what the contracts they can afford and how low how much money the Pirates try not to spend on payroll. And I was also looking at their payroll for this year is like $35 million. Now I was listening to y'all talk about the TV deals. That would mean one of those deals pays for their entire payroll. Basically makes all their money back to payroll. That's not including their regional deals and all the other advertisements that y'all are talking about. But I agree with Joe so much as far as like these teams are just not spending money. And it's ridiculous. And I've been a Pirates fan for a long time, and I know we just don't spend money. They say they're trying to rebuild, but how long are you going to rebuild before you start trying to spend money? The last time they had a payroll over $50 million was in 2013, 2014, when they made, and guess what? They made the wild card, at least made the playoffs. So sorry if that's a little long rant, but there's not acting like you said, like they don't have any money. That's ridiculous. Stay dirty, boys. Actually, condoms are for fucking MLB owners.
I don't know how you could be a Pirates fan at this point, like realistically.
100%.
But
and that's the thing is like
it's next level.
Yeah, and the Pirates are a great example. I mean, first of all, like you said, a top 10 richest owner.
He's the 10th. He's the 10th richest owner in baseball.
Yeah, in a sports town that supports the shit out of you.
All their teams.
Penguins,
their teams. Steelers.
And if you look at the Penguins and the Steelers, 2 teams that consistently are good, consistently try to put a team on the field or the ice to win, and are rewarded in doing so. This is the problem with, I mean, first of all, the idea again that you're going to have a payroll under $50 million when the biggest payroll in baseball is, almost 5 times that, if not more than 5 times that. It's shameful. And it's 2 really important things that I've talked about that I'll talk about again. There has to be a salary floor. You have to be spending X amount of dollars to try to win. And I demand, when Joe Prano is the commissioner, that there be a salary floor over your next 5 seasons. I need to see you invested in your team. Also, again, show your fucking financials. This is probably the biggest problem with baseball is the teams not needing to show their financials, because essentially what they're hiding is that this guy's making a ton of money on the Pirates.
Yeah.
This is a business decision by him. How much do I have to spend to win? And if we don't win, how much do I make? So let's say I try to compete, but we don't win the division. We don't go to the playoffs. We don't get any playoff share. We don't get a playoff bonus. It's the ultimate like catch-22, because if you try to compete and you don't make the playoffs, sure, you've probably cut into your earnings. And essentially, there's too many fucking teams out there that are McDonald's, that are Burger Kings, that are not trying to be award-winning restaurants. They're just being like, we pay people shit, we serve shit food, but if enough people come, we actually make way more money than a 5-star restaurant does. So it's just shameful that baseball doesn't, or that, I don't know, the government or fucking sports in general, the owners, I don't know, somebody doesn't demand that we see what these guys are making, so that we have that more than the people like myself who are so deeply involved in baseball, that the average man knows that these guys, a guy like this is a billionaire. He's making money by being the value meal of baseball clubs. He doesn't spend money. People still come because he's in a town that supports sports. He sells them all beer. He takes all his regional deals, and he stacks money while not having to attempt to compete at all.
And when I say bad, I don't think I just feel like people know the Pirates are bad, but I want to, we talk about the Lions or we talk about the Browns. Guys, I don't think we understand this Pirates franchise. They've had 4 winning seasons since 1993. I guess probably the Lions could compete with that, maybe the Browns, but they had 20. This is the stat that blows my mind, which I knew. They had 20 straight losing seasons. 20 straight losing seasons.
And it's one of those organizations that's like, in terms of their talent evaluation, like I don't know what sort of changes they've gone through with GMs and scouts and whatever over the years, but like somewhat in my lifetime, in like a recent history, pretty good at evaluating talent, pretty good at having guys come in, being great on the Pirates, leaving the Pirates, going to another team for money, and being, productive players across baseball. It's a town that loves sports. And here is once again, probably the number one issue with baseball. And it's tied back to that thing of these shitty owners make money and we don't have to see the financials of it. Just like the Mets, I'll bring up my team again. Just like the Mets had a guys who not committed to winning, playing cheap, making money. There are guys out there who want to buy this team, who want to spend money to win, and who want to turn around the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And a guy, Mark Cuban, a Pittsburgh, native, is the perfect example. He wants desperately to have Major League Baseball let him buy the Pirates and turn them around the way he did the Mavs. But baseball, shithead run fucking organization that it is, isn't interested. The idea that they are not using a pitchfork to force these type of owners out of their league and bring in owners like a Mark Cuban is insane. And not only are they not forcing them to leave, they're using the pitchfork to keep the Mark Cubans and the Steve Cohens of the world out of the league as long as they possibly can.
The Pirates play in a beautiful stadium. I've been there. It's gorgeous. Like, it's a great ballpark. One of my favorites. You're in a division that's winnable. There's one big market team in that division, the Cubs. All the other ones, Cincinnati, St. Louis, Milwaukee, they're all lower tier cities as far as population. It's a winnable division. Now, have the Cardinals dominated? Yes, the Cardinals are always good. But my point is, it's not competing against the Yankees and the Red Sox every year. You know, it's like, guys, it's a recipe to win. But they don't care, and they don't care about the game. And he's going to keep getting 10,000 people at a game and win 70 games and still make his money when he has a $50 million payroll or whatever it's going to be. It's just sad. It's just sad all the way around.
Agreed.
310-359-8365. Once again, that's the hotline. Give us a ring. Drop a review on Apple. Rate us on Spotify. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. You can tell me I'm stupid on Reddit. Joe, what's going on?
At Joe Prano on all social media, except for Twitter. I'm at Fix Your Life. Follow me specifically on Instagram, as I will always be updating my tour dates, my shows. I put up a lot of times on stories, my flyers. Tomorrow night, I'll be at a show at I believe it's Sycamore Mineral Springs Resort and Spa in San Luis Obispo, headlining a show. So if you missed me when I was up there for the Slow Comedy Fest, come out and see me there. And then, of course, next week, the tour through Colorado starts with Eddie Ifft. Steamboat Springs, Vail, Denver, all those dates and more on joeprano.com/shows. New York after that. Those shows will be put out soon on my website, and then, of course, on my Instagram. So stay tuned there. And again, if you're in Colorado, hit me up. You wanna shred the gnar? You wanna play some golf? You gotta hook up at one of the ski mountains for lift tickets? Hang with me and Eddie. We'd love to have you. Drink Miller Lite and tell me about it on the internet.
All right. That'll be it for us today. Much love to everyone for supporting us. You guys have a great weekend. And as always, stay dirty.